when we try to understand the social work curriculum in India, we need to understand social work curriculum is being seen as a professional course where it has both the practical and the theoretical component. So when we see in terms of the proportion, theory as 60% and the practicum as actually 40%. In terms of fulfilling the practical component, there are various components which is inbuilt in the curriculum. For an example, we are having 4 concurrent fieldwork that is there in all the semester. In case of the PG course, semester 1, semester 2, 3, 4. Apart from the concurrent fieldwork, we are also having in the first semester itself the rural camp we are having. And after the completion of the first year, we are having a 1-month internship. And in the 3rd semester, we are having a study tour. And in the 4th semester, again, we are having 1-month block placement. So the idea of keeping all this practicum component is that to make sure the students get the required skill. And the skill will help them in terms of getting the job placement. So whenever we think of any professional course, people are going for a professional course so that when they complete the course, the time which they invest, surely they could be able to get a better actually job opportunities with a good salary. So without the skill, it is not at all possible for a candidate to get the job. So keeping that in mind only, the social work curriculum try to inbuild the skill component in each and every actually semester so that the students can progressively learn those skills, so that when they come out of the course, they will be having a hands-on experience as well as in terms of the skill which they could be able to showcase themselves when they are going for an actual interview, and they could be able to secure good job with a decent income. And when we start the course, so we usually start with an actually a skill development program. Social work is an interdisciplinary subject. So people from the various disciplines, including whether it is actually science or humanities or social sciences, people come. So when they are coming, and it becomes very difficult for the science and other stream of people in terms of understanding the community and approaching the community and understanding the problem and doing the required support for those people. In terms of addressing this particular actual issue, when the student comes, we start with an actually a skill development workshop. It depending upon the institutions, it goes for actually 3 days to 5 days. And within this skill development workshop, our major focus is both on the soft skill as well as in terms of certain actually components like actually the theatrical component, either in terms of the street theatre or in terms of the puppet show or in terms of the flash mob and other thing, which is very much required for the social worker to get into the community and establish a rapport. And apart from this actually specific component, even the social worker should have a skill in terms of actually an active listening or good communication skill, or in terms of having an actually better either in terms of the communication skill or in terms of how to understand the problems of the people. So through various actually PRA and other a rapid assessment kind of a thing, or in terms of the leadership quality and spontaneous decision making. So these are certain prerequisite things for any social worker in terms of actually getting into the course. So keeping this in mind, we start always with the skill development workshop. And this skill development workshop really helps the student in terms of, it's an actual ice-breaking session which really helps the students to come out of their comfort zone and also able to provide the required actual knowledge and the skill to get into the community and actually do the work which they expected to actually perform. And when it comes to the concurrent field work, and we always try to see in terms of the either the case work, group work and community program, these are the primary methods which is part and parcel of the first and the second semester actually concurrent field work. And similarly, when it comes to the 3rd and the 4th semester, the institutions has their own specific actually specializations, whether it is a community development or medical and psychiatry. The students will be sent to the specific setting to acquire those specific skills which will help them in terms of actually marketing themselves or else in terms of securing a job with a good actually salary. And either on the important component which is being provided in the first semester, that is the rural camp. The rural camp is the rural can be conducted either in the rural area or in the tribal areas. It is basically to understand the society, either in terms of the structure or in terms of the power, the power structure which operates there, or in terms of the administrative structure, or how the people's actual life is there, what kind of problem they are undergoing, and what kind of an actually the required support these people wanted, and how you being as an individual or as a team could be able to address the concerns of the people. So this is one part of the actually the rural camp. The second part of the rural camp is that actually how you as an individual is going to train yourself, okay, in terms of living with a minimum resources, or in terms of working together as a team, or in terms of taking actually certain work and accomplishing within a specified time, or in terms of actually doing an actually a joint work. So this is the second, both in terms of the understanding the society and the personal development. Personal development is what the measure of the actually rural. If you are trying to understand what these really skills help the students to gain, so I just wanted to say maybe few case studies in terms of actually how these skills have really helped. So if I want to specify the first case study about an actually, I don't want to name the person. So he was one of our actually a student of the first semester, and in our actually first semester the students has to do minimum of 3 case studies, 1 group work and 1 community program. As part of the case work, when he was placed in actually a old age home where he has to interact with the old age people. So when he was interacting, he found one case study when he was doing, he could be able to identify an elderly person. She has came out of her home and she has lost most of her memory, and she could be able to remember few things which she expressed her during the casework actually writing when she was collecting her history, when he was collecting the history. So based on that history, he could be able to trace which place actually this elderly person was trying to point out, and some of the actually landmarks which she gave, he actually made an attempt in terms of going to that particular locality, which is around some 150-200 kilometers, is hardly 2.5 hours journey. He went to the place, and with the landmarks which she gave, he tries to identify those places and try to see actually whether he could be able to get any of their actually link with the family members. And after a struggle of actually 2 months, he could be able to get the contact of the family members. And when he approached the family members and he told that actually the person so and so, the relative, because of their memory loss, she came out and she could not be able to reach back the family, and right now she is there in the elderly home. So when the family get to know, they were very happy, and immediately the family members came to the elderly home and they met the person and they took her along with them. So it is a family reunion. So she had to struggle without the family members for almost 6 years. And this one aspect in terms of understanding the casework, in terms of understanding the individual, their problems and how to address the problem, the skill which helped in terms of actually given to the students has helped in terms of reuniting this particular actually elderly person after 6 years. Similarly, it is not just one case. So there are in each batch actually we are roughly having some 40 to 50 students. So in many cases we can see the students, they go to the villages. The villages majorly all the programs and schemes are related to their actual basic identities. Either it is an Aadhaar card is the basic identity right now the people want. And many of the poor people, they don't know actually how to apply for the Aadhaar card. If you are having the Aadhaar card and the ration card, then most of the things, whatever the schemes which is being provided by the government, either it is an actually housing or in terms of the old age pension or any other actually income related thing, it is all attached to the Aadhaar and the ration card. Since they don't have this thing, they have been denied of those facilities. And because of the initiatives through the casework, the students could be able to understand the problem and they were addressing it, and it has changed the lives of many people, either in terms of the financial support or in terms of the other actually getting houses and other things. So many problems actually the students could be able to achieve because of the skills which they try to acquire in the field. Similarly, in terms of the second semester also, it continues. The students have been placed in the specific settings, whether it is a community setting or in terms of the hospital and the psychiatric setting. So if I have to mention again, we can see I could be able to remember many case studies where the students went to the community. Each and every individual in the community, they know there is a problem exists, but they are not coming together in terms of addressing it. And because of the initiatives of the students, either in terms of the basic skills which they acquired, either which is related to the community understanding or community engagement or community organizing skill, they could able to bring the people together towards that particular cause and make the people to work toward that particular cause in terms of addressing it, starting with either in terms of getting a road or in terms of the street light or in terms of getting a potable drinking water, or using the Jalanidhi program in the Kerala in terms of getting actually water for the whole community, or in terms of the Swachhata mission in terms of making the place clean and tidy so that actually the health related problems may not come. So when we are trying to understand the skill in the present context, even the recent actually the national education policy, which very clearly says each and every program, whether it's a bachelor or master's program, they should have a very clear cut actually focus on skill building. And it has been very clearly spelled out that each and every program, when students complete it, they should become employable. So the focus has been more and more actually towards skill. Though we make a claim in case of actually social work, the social work is actually a course which has a skill component inbuilt. But after the NEP has come, we got actually a very clear cut agenda or a specific actually aspect to look into each and every course, not as a program, but each and every course also should have certain actually skill component, so that actually the learners can get the specific actually skill component from each and every paper itself. So when we are talking about the NEP and the emphasis of NEP towards the skill development and the employability, the NEP, when it comes to the graduation level program, it has very clearly said, rather than looking into in terms of years, we should try to focus the first year in parallel with actually the certificate course, and the second year to the diploma, third one to the degree, and the fourth one to the honors. And when a person completes 1 year of the bachelor's, they should be required to fulfill certain they should require to actually acquire certain skills which will help them to get an employability. Similarly, when they complete the second year, they should acquire a more higher graded skill than a certificate program, so that they can able to get employment as well as a better actually income also. As the level goes higher and higher, similarly the skills also should get improved, and based on their actually the skill acquirement which they have, they should get a better employment and a better income. So that is how the NEP tries to envision or see the whole pedagogy as well as the curriculum preparation and the curriculum delivery. And so when keeping this in mind, when we are trying to focus on a certificate program, so apart from the theoretical aspect which is required, we need to provide more and more actually with related to the skill aspect. And the overall curriculum, when we say as an actually a degree program or as an honors program, when we see degree program, we always focus the students, those who are completing the degree. One, of course, employment is there. It is not that all the students aspire to go for employment, and there are a section of the students they wanted to go for higher education also, and there are a section of students they wanted to go and give actually government examination, including the civil services and other things. So as a program, we need to foresee all these aspects. It is not just only one particular skill which we are trying to actually provide to the student. We are trying to provide a student a skill which they can go in terms of work at the community level also. At the same time, they could be able to actually acquire the required research skill through the honors program to go for higher studies in terms of pursuing their actually doctorate and other research related program, or in terms of the knowledge which they require in terms of actually giving the various government examinations. So a curriculum should envision all these aspects, and accordingly the curriculum should be framed and it should be delivered to the students.